Again, admin's going to be talking about that on Wednesday. That is going to have to come out by the end of the week, so that way we can start March 30th, on our feet running with all of this, and then we can start to enforce the things that we have put in place with parents and kids. So, Dan, that might go back to your question of when do we start putting in zeros? Well, I would love for us to, if a kid, definitely has access to the internet and the device, and they're just flat out not doing the assignment, we would do the same thing that we normally would do. Call the parent, they're not submitting anything. Maybe at that point you start putting the zero in the grade book for the parent and the child to see, oh, wow. And then, you guys allowing that student to still do the work and, get that in. But right now, I wouldn't be putting zeros in the grade books right now. I don't know if anyone has any other ideas, or if you think of anything that you think would work really well from your perspective as teachers with attendance. Shoot me an email. That way all ideas can kind of be surfaced at our meeting on Wednesday. And then we have some more of a teacher voice in that as well.
Is there anything someone else like they experienced today or want to share? Just jump right in. Did you have anything else, Stephanie?
No, just again, we're talking. We're very aware of all the things that came up at the high school faculty meeting. The middle school, I think team leaders maybe have been collecting information from teachers. So we've been looking at all of that to put on our agenda for Wednesday, so that way we can have answers to those things. Really, grading and attendance. There are two big things that have continued to come up. So, they're the things we want to continue to iron out. We are still set to go with collecting packets on Monday from the kids. So make sure this week you're communicating with your students what they should be returning on Monday. You do have the flexibility as the teacher, to say, I only want you to return week 1, because as you're getting into this week, you may be having the kids snapping pictures of assignments and submitting it to you through Google Classroom. So for those kids that are doing that, maybe you only want, 1 week of that stuff back, and that would help minimize some of the paper that's being returned to school. So please think about that as a teacher. What stuff maybe you can have a majority of your kids taking pictures of and submitting. That way they don't have so much to return, and you won't have so much to get back.
Stephanie, is it fair to expect only 9 days worth of work, since we are picking it up in the morning on the 9th day, that we sent him 10 days worth of work, but it's getting, picked up early?
Yeah. So if they still need to finish, like I know some people over planned, where they actually might even have planned like 3 weeks of stuff, or there's that additional day. Is it too confusing for them just to keep, that 10th day of work, or just I don't know, depending on the progress you've made with kids in the last week, if you're even on the pace that you would want them to be. And, you might even be asking them to keep certain things.
I'm thinking about my own kids too at the high school.
Yes.
Their teachers are saying, have your 10-day packet ready. And if we're going to get it up there in the morning of the 10th day, I don't know if they need to do another day over the weekend. Or, we can do it later in the day. I just don't want to hold it back from a kid, penalize them if they need that extra day or so.
No, I mean, I don't think so. If they need that extra day, that's why I really need the teachers communicating. Again, you know how these kids have been hopefully working through the packets. But if you want the whole packet back, then yes, they're going to have that complete for Monday. If you don't, if you want to allow them to have that additional day or hold on to certain things, then that through email or your Google Classroom, making sure that's communicated so that they don't return something that you're going to give them more time on.
Is there going to be another bus pickup for work?
Well, what we can do is see, if I think remember, the buses are going to be running every day because during this entire length of time we are off, because buses are still delivering food to kids. So those families are selected for the food to be delivered to them. So we can absolutely, let's just say we have 20 kids district-wide that are still not going to be able to get onto an electronic form of a classroom. Well, then we are going to have to be maybe mailing things home to them or dropping things off to them and picking things up. If that's, again, the method that those families need. They may be able to drop things off at the school in the drop box, but if not, our buses are going to be running. So if we have to do another pickup, we absolutely can, if needed.
And one thing I just thought of when you were talking about earlier before some people hopped on about the Google Classroom aspect is students. I mean, I think if we could just reinforce the parents that the work that the students will be doing on Google Classroom, the grades and the best way to see their progress will be through still accessing PowerSchool.
Absolutely.
And keeping up with their grades.
Yes. And that will definitely be grades 3 through 12, because parents grades 3 through 12 utilize PowerSchool. We have standards-based report cards K too.
Because I know a lot of the Google Classroom assignments they're going to be doing for the kids the kids are going to have to show the parents the work. It's not something like we email back to them. Like they're going to have to physically show their parents like the assignment we did. If the parent sees they got an 80 and they want to see why.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, Dan, that's definitely in the notes when we're developing this communication out to parents that, yes, PowerSchool is still the way, just like you would be if your kids were, here in school every day. That's how you would be looking at the grades. So it's just that will be that nothing about that will change.
And I know maybe I think we have a sheet that we sent home to parents at the beginning of the year. If included in that contact, if it's also an email, that could be attached to PDF of how they could get access to get their login information again. So I'd be willing to bet there's a lot of people that don't or are not signed up still for PowerSchool.
Yep. It's a good idea. Yep. Yeah, you guys probably can look at PowerSchool has how many times the parents have logged in to their account. So you'd be able to see if they've never been in at all.
Sometimes it's unreliable with the cell phone logins we've found in the past.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. So there's a lot to still be decided this week. But I do throw that out to you as far as I think attendance is something that we really want to think about what that looks like. So again, if you guys have any ideas after today, we are discussing it Wednesday. So that way we can, just make some decisions on what that looks like. That way, again, we can hold everybody more accountable for, you are present or you are not. You need, how can we help you based on, if there's any other obstacle. I have asked the principals, which I know that they are keeping notes on, by the end of the week to know which students are still, there are obstacles as far as getting on a Google Classroom or Seesaw. So we will make sure that we know who those kids are by the end of the week. So that way we can, again, reach out to them of, what's going on, how can we help you guys be successful. So that is something that they are aware of.
Any other questions or concerns from anyone?
Is there anything else teachers are hearing from the parents that where, what supports they need? I'm interested just if there's anything else that you're hearing from the kids or the parents, help support them.
They definitely miss school.
They do.
I piggybacked on Alyssa Hars's idea, and I met with my parents last week.
Oh, great. How did that go?
It was good. I was able to do a little demonstration. We were going to try as third grade to push out a new format in Google Slides for everything for the whole day, what they would need, and with the links embedded right there. So I was able to share my screen and walk them through it. I had already made a video for the kids and pushed that out on Google Classroom, but I was able to show the parents. And, after I went through my stuff, reminding them about the pickup on the 30th and Chromebooks and things like that, I did open it up to ask them, what do you need from me? What can I still do to help you be successful at home? And really, they were really quiet. And, what they did share, I said, okay, well, if nobody has any problems, tell me something that is working for you at home. And, they said everything was really well organized, that it was, like work, not busy work, like actual learning and lessons. They seemed really pleased. And the independent emails I've gotten from parents have been positive too.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's definitely an idea to consider. Did you do it through Zoom, Christine?
I did.
Okay.
I could not. So Dan, I recorded it and tried to share starting at 8:00 Friday night. Still can't get it to share. I found a different way to get it up to YouTube. And then that second way finally told me that I needed to trim it down to 15 minutes. Even when I did do that, it still wouldn't go. So somebody else had suggested they think it's on overload right now, and that's why everything is so slow and delayed. I don't know.
Yeah, because the first problem for me was the 15 minutes one, and it's been working ever since for me.
Yeah.
That could be an issue, but to piggyback on what you were talking about with parents, the two people just asked about adding parents to Google Classroom, like they were asking for the codes. So the only thing we can do in Google Classroom is add parents like as the email correspondent. And I've done that in the past. And if you do give assignments as like the assignments button in Google Classroom, parents will get receipts saying whether or not it was turned in or not. But a parent outside of our domain will not be able to get the view that a student gets.
And actually take the assessment for them.
Yes. So if parents want to know, I'd instruct them two things that they could do is, first off, our grades are going to correspond in PowerSchool, so check PowerSchool. I know for me specifically, I think something that's going to be important is when I assign it, not that I'm necessarily saying that's the due date, but I'm putting my date in the grade book that day. Mm-hmm. So like when it says March 23rd as the assignment, March 23rd is when it was in the grade book, and obviously I name them exactly the same. And then the second thing I always tell them, you can have your kid log in right in front of you and look at their screen later on in the day. But having them join, it's not going to be a possibility. I hope that answered your guys' question. There you go. Some people just answer the question about YouTube in the comment section. So there's you that are having a problem with that.
I have a question about Zoom in general. I'm hearing some districts around me are not allowed to use it any longer. I don't know what that's about. Are we heading there?
Oh, yeah. I pulled the policy on Friday.
Okay.
And